this makes sense. Black people were brought here on ships to work for a group of people who had immigrated here from Europe so that they could have a better life. Black people weren't brought here to have a better life. So the modern immigrant doesn't understand the immigrant of the past. For one thing, their folks were steered here instead of forcefully brought here to the United States on the ship to work for the same people, same group of people who were the original immigrants to this country, so that those originals could have a better way of life. The only problem is they never think twice about what they do, and the consequences is there's going to be a group of people left behind while they're making their success. There's going to be a group of people left behind that also want something in return. So the Asian community and the black community are currently at each other's loggerheads over white resources, which aren't really their resources because they get their resources from Africa and Asia and all those other places. So there's no real white resources. And it may sound racist what I'm saying, it's not. It's an explanation. Everybody knows that there's a mutual thing. The world is not each country is not a monolith. Each country requires something from the other, right? So America trades with the Middle East. That's why oil prices are affected by that. There's elements in Africa for stuff, goods that are sold in the United States that are bought out of Africa. There's stuff even bought out of Europe, the Pacific Rim, all these places that the United States, it's helped make the United States a wealthy, exotic nation in that term. So the immigrants that are here are fighting to be a part of that greatness of the United States, quote unquote, and I'm putting the quotes around it. Whereas the black people here know the real truth about who the United States is and what it's really about. The fact that they basically put the foot on the neck of my ancestors who were strong enough to survive coming across the ocean, who still believed in their freedom, who did everything even when they were in chains to maintain that freedom, who eventually fought for that freedom during the Civil War and gained that freedom, and at the same time had to fight for another 100 years because the same people wanted to keep us under control, because if they don't keep us under control, they fear somebody taking their place. The immigrants that come here think that they can get along with the people that are here like they did in their own country. Like, I'm one of you now. I've immigrated here, and I'm one of you now. No, that is not how that works. You don't look like them. You may not even talk like them. You keep saying we need to change the culture because just like we were taught growing up, America is a melting pot. But if you watch the community, watch people, it's like if you live up north, you have the Chinatowns, you have the Italians, you have the German towns, you have the Jamaican towns, you have the towns for the Vietnamese and the Koreans. Everybody's got their own little space up there, and that's planned that way. Whereas I live in the South, where people will literally, what's called white flight. Once they start seeing black and brown people move into a neighborhood, they move out. They go somewhere else. And it's not the same as up north. It doesn't seem blatant or real. They're fine with one or two black neighbors or one or two Mexican, but once they start seeing a lot of every other color, it's like, uh-oh, there goes the neighborhood. It's time to move on. And black people, white, and immigrants both suffer from a problem, because the best of the black community will run their backsides over to these suburbs when they get say they get a little money, they get a good education, they get a good job, and they say, you know what, I'm going to build me a house over there because life is better over there, leaving the other folks behind. This beside the point. We'll get to that story at some point. Meanwhile, immigrants come here, they do the same thing. They get that money, they move into that neighborhood that says, I'm like Chase or Billy Bob over here. But Billy Bob and Chase don't see you the same. Yet you don't see that. You're fighting so hard to be American. So hard that you put your foot on the neck of the people that your parents get money from. When I go to a Chinese restaurant, or when I go to a gas station, or when my wife goes to a beauty shop, any of those things that are owned by you guys, we're giving you our money that we earn working at the very same companies that don't like you, right? Y'all don't get that. Meanwhile, you got this whole thing going on in the White House where they're trying to get ICE agents to kick you out. You got people here in Alabama, literally, the Secretary of State says we need to get rid of the 14th Amendment. All y'all want to become citizens in the United States, but they want to get rid of naturalizing citizens. They want to decide who can stay here. The original immigrants want to decide what immigrants can stay here. They want to decide who wants citizenship. So now you guys have the nerve to tell us that, well, you need us because we got the stores and we got the better education and all this. Yada, yada. Right, but it's my dollars that's driving you there. You don't understand the relationship thing. You don't understand the network. Meanwhile, it is our people who are fighting the hardest against ICE, against them taking away the 14th Amendment. It's our people doing that. People that look like me. We fight for you while you want to act a butt. So now when people talking about they want to boycott your stores, maybe they should. Maybe they should just sit by and let ICE take your butt back to wherever they want to take you to, because they don't even want to take you back to your own country. You know what I'm saying? We've been fighting the same battle that you've been fighting. Heck, the countries many of y'all came from were originally colonized, and they mistreated, the European folks mistreated y'all. So now y'all are poor, and your countries are poor because they sat there and tried to drain all the resources out of your country, putting all the wealth in their country, and now y'all got to come somewhere else. And they're complaining because you're coming to them because they got the wealth that they stole from you that they deserve to give you back. But then you got the nerve to attack other people who are in the same situation you in. Boss, I'm tired of having this conversation. I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm like this. Either y'all come together with us or you fail on your own. I ain't got nothing else to say.